Good evening.
Are you Stephanie Wigner?
No, I'm Stephania Widger.
Okay, that's what I said. Okay, you do say divestment. We have an item on the consent calendar, item number 8. Do you want to speak then on that item, or do you want to speak now on the item?
You know, it really doesn't matter. What do you think would work best for you? Flo?
We're going to get to the consent item real quickly. So
Okay.
if you want to,
Why don't we wait for that?
yeah,
then?
absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next commenter is Julie Greenfield.
Hi, Mayor Salinas and council members. Thank you for your service, being here, listening to the community. I am here as a member of the Jewish community of the Eden area. And I'm here just to affirm that we all are in this together. And we hope, I know that there are many, many strong feelings in our community. And we are a very diverse community. And the diversity is part of our strength, and it should be part of our strength. But there are also some dangers here, and the Jewish community is feeling, it's fairly small at this point in this area, and it is feeling somewhat nervous. And so we appeal to you to listen to everybody, but to be judicious in your judgment, and not to make any rash decisions, to be conscious that decisions, especially regarding international affairs, may have ramifications at the local level that are unintended. And so we hope that we can all work together and listen to each other and learn from each other, and come out of this together as a united community.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't have any more cards. So I'd like to close public comment and move on
Mayor,
to.
my apologies, but we have online speakers.
Oh, that's right, online speakers. Let me see. Ro Aguilar, go ahead and key up.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to send kudos to our city council staff and TV star Hayward planning manager Christina Morales for the news clip on Hayward's soon to be open affordable housing development. It was wonderful publicity, positive message, and I hope staff will speak more on this project tonight and the opening of the application process. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller is Aya.
Hi, my name is Aya, and I came here before to ask for a ceasefire, but since then I haven't seen one. But I have seen innocent children dying every day, and I can't believe we haven't stopped it. I don't think that I need to explain that there's a genocide. It's been more than 100 days of the Palestinians suffering, and I'm sure that you've seen some of the videos and pictures like I have. So I'm asking you again, please do the right thing and talk to President Biden and call for a ceasefire. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Hayward Concerned Citizens. TJ.
Hey, good evening and Happy New Year, Council. I am TJ with Hayward Concerned Citizens, and our group, now a recognized nonprofit organization, is nearing its 4th year. Like everyone at the start of a new year, we've gotten in the habit of setting priorities for the goals that we want to focus on. This year, these priorities are public safety, crime prevention and reduction, and traffic enforcement. In the past week, as a couple of council members are already aware, a post was started on the Nextdoor media platform that read, "I don't feel safe shopping with my young children in the city of Hayward. Does anyone else feel the same?" It resonated with a lot of Hayward residents and branched off to topics of council leadership, safer streets, homeless and mental health services, and red light cameras. It was a fruitful discussion. It would be nice to have these discussions more often and include this council body on a regular basis. I appreciate you're all busy, but I think it's important not to lose sight of what those who put you on the dais need. We don't have to wait for a tragic event to happen before holding a town hall type discussion. Let's make that happen this year, whether virtually, in person, or through a social media platform Q&A like Nextdoor. I'd also just wanted to ask if there was ever any feedback as to why Hayward was not approved for the theft prevention program grant a couple of months back. So if somebody could share that, I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for keeping our city's safety concerns at the forefront.
Thank you. Moving on to Amani Salim.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Amani Salim, and I'm a 12-year-old 7th grade student. Even though I'm younger, it doesn't impair my ability to see the injustice that the Israeli occupation has caused. I utterly abhor the destruction that Israel has brought upon the Palestinian people. To be complicit, Israel's the clear motive is genocide. Israel has been using our tax dollars to fund that said motive. We demand that the city of Hayward divest our tax dollars to fund the murder of innocent civilians. As someone from Palestinian heritage, what they're doing is specifically disturbing, especially disturbing. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Omira.
Hi, my name is Omera. I'm going to pass it over to my son Khalid, who has a comment.
My name is Khalid. I'm 8 years old and I live in Hayward. Please do not make contracts with companies that fund genocide. I'm a kid, but everyone has a voice to say the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Jannah?
Hello, my name is Jannah. I am only 7 years old. Do you remember me? I came to ask for a ceasefire before, but I don't see one. All I see is violence in Palestine. I'm a child and I'm scared of the images and the pictures. How do you think the kids, the 1-year-olds and the newborns feel when they see this in Palestine for real life? So I'm here to ask for a ceasefire. Ceasefire now. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Fatima Abdel Wahab.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Fatima. I came with Jenna 45 days ago and asked you guys for a ceasefire. It seemed like it wasn't important to you guys then, and it seems like it only isn't important to you guys today because it's been 45 days that you guys have not put this on the agenda. And if my memory serves me right, the room was packed. Oh, and even overflowing into the outside area with Palestine supporters. I don't know how many more people need to come on Zoom or come in person to persuade you guys to be on the right side, but anyways, please call for a ceasefire. And I hope we don't have to keep coming to these meetings and asking. I think 45 days waiting is more than enough. Please stand on the right side of history. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Saomi Smoller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think all you really need are eyes to see what's been happening. 25,000 murdered, tens of thousands under the rubble, 2 million displaced and starving, dehydrated. And this isn't a force of nature. This isn't a natural disaster. These are the conscious actions of an apartheid state imposing conditions to make life unlivable for the residents of Gaza. What's happened since the last city council meeting? South Africa is taking Israel to international court for genocide, a charge that they made a very compelling case for, and which I strongly agree with. What else is happening? This week, the Biden administration is being taken to federal court for complicity and failure to prevent genocide. The DOJ has filed not a counterclaim so much as a motion to dismiss, arguing that the case is beyond the jurisdiction of the judicial branch, which is interesting because it's a sentiment that I heard echoed by the first speaker today, who happens to sit on the Eden Interfaith Council, who on December 12th happened to send this very city council a letter discouraging them from taking any meaningful action. Notably absent from this letter are any mention of Gaza, any mention of the conditions under which Israel has subjected them to, and also notably absent from the board of directors are any Muslim members of the board, not for lack of membership. I've looked at the board. They have 2 Muslim representatives, but neither of them were signatories of this letter that were sent to the city council, nor were there any Muslims present at the interfaith vigil that they hosted in Castro Valley, at which they said no speeches, no signs, just people. And I wonder how you can truly mourn. You don't even acknowledge what is happening. So, you know, to act like this is just purely not a local issue when you have so many constituents, when you have so many members of the community here today who have lost members of their families, sometimes entire branches. It seems absurd to me. So please listen to the other speakers who have any more about
Thank you, Mr. Smoller. Your time is over. I'd like to move on to next caller is Khadijah. Khadijah? Oh, there
Hi,
you go.
can you hear me?
Yes.
My daughter Khadija would like to send a message to the city council.
Hello, my name is Khadija. I am 6 and I live in Hayward. Please do not have contracts with companies that support genocide, and please call for a ceasefire now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller is ceasefire.
Hello.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm calling because, well, thank you. My name is Ceasefire, and I'm calling to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and collective punishment against the people of Palestine. It's sadly and unfortunately been 45 days since this council was asked by your constituents to pass a ceasefire resolution. And if the council is not willing to sign onto a resolution, despite a huge majority of council members publicly supporting a ceasefire, these are things you can do to help. Hayward is currently investing over $1.6 million in companies designated by the boycott, divest, and sanction movement as supporting the ongoing genocide. These companies include Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai. Boycott these companies. We've done this before. The council has passed a resolution in 1985 to divest from companies supporting apartheid in South Africa, and currently does not invest in any entity who is knowingly or intentionally engaged in the development of nuclear weapons. So let's continue doing the right thing. We're so good at it, especially now that South Africa, the same country that has experienced apartheid, is now suing Israel for genocide. Israel is using our tax dollars to make Gaza completely inhabitable. Nearly every university and every hospital has been destroyed. The death toll has increased by 7,800 since December 5th. Nearly 25,000 Palestinians have been killed and 2 million displaced, nearly half of whom are civilians and children, like the children begging you now to call for a ceasefire. What's more important, our profit or the lives of children? Let Hayward send a clear message to our federal elected officials and the corporations benefiting from this, that no more, we will not be complicit. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I ask that you call for a ceasefire, and I hope for a free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Thank you. Our next caller is Bibi Ijaz or Ijaz.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Bibi Ijaz. I am a resident of Hayward. I currently live here. I have been here for almost 20 plus years. I wanted to come on here and urge the city of Hayward to diverse from the companies aiding Israel. I have been following along this situation for almost 20 years. From what I remember, the situation that is happening in between Palestine and Gaza has been going on for 70 plus years. I'm all for, eliminating terrorist groups. I'm, anti-terrorism, but this is far more than terrorism. It's ethnic cleansing, it's dehumanizing children of Gaza. And there is a lot that goes on to this situation than we know. And I urge everybody who is listening to do your proper research and not just fall for the mass media propaganda. The people who are suffering right now is the children of Gaza, and they don't deserve, no children deserves to live in a situation that they are in. And we're supporting this genocide. We're supporting the, I'm not necessarily going to say ethnic cleansing because I don't believe in that, But I do believe that they're dehumanizing people that currently live in Gaza, all for the sake of the land. And I don't think, in general, I don't think USA should support other, or USA already involves itself in other people's business. When it comes to Middle East, the war in Middle East doesn't benefit us in any shape or form. It's none of our business. And personally, like, we shouldn't keep aiding people out in we should not support other countries' war. I think we have enough to deal with our homeless crisis. Hayward has enough issues at hand with, Hayward Unified School District. We are lacking funding, so why are we supporting something that doesn't serve us? It doesn't benefit us. So we should, I urge city of Hayward to withdraw and stop supporting the aid for Israel. Thank you.
Thank you. Like to have Teresa Resendez up next. Ms. Resendez? One more time, Ms. Resendez. Okay, I am going to move on to our card here. Looks like this is the last public speaker is David Watley. Not here? Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Good evening, Hayward City Council. This is David Watley. And I actually wasn't planning to speak on the topic that has been spoken of this evening. I did not know that this was taking place, but I feel compelled to offer some public comments with regard to the Israel-Palestine matter that is taking place right now. And first of all, on my public speaker card, I just want to offer, I could be contacted at dwatley@ucla.edu. That's DWHATLEY@ucla.edu. So I just wanted to say that I'm an alumnus of Mount Eden High School, class of 1996, quite a long time ago. Go Monarchs. And when I went to high school, some of my best friends were from Afghanistan. And I went to a very diverse school, Mount Eden at that time. And I think it continues to be a very diverse high school. And I had friends from literally all over the world, like Asia, Middle East. And so then right out of high school, I went right to UCLA as a freshman. And that was, I got to experience a different part of California and made friendships with even more diversity. And so I just want to say that I also have some of my best friends from UCLA or from Los Angeles are Jewish. So as I sit here listening to these comments with regard to Israel and Palestine, I feel a bit conflicted because on the one hand, some of my best friends from high school at Mount Eden are literally refugees from Afghanistan. And then on the other hand, some of my best friends from Los Angeles are Jewish. So I think that we need to keep in mind that within Hayward and within the state of California, that there are families and friends that are being impacted that are both Israeli and Palestinian. And I think that we need to keep that in mind as we move forward in any public policy decision, whether it be at the municipal, county, or state level of government, or in this case, I'm not sure what divestment specifically they're asking for, but I think we need to keep all of these things in mind as we continue to move forward with regard to this public discussion. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there are no more. We got one more caller online. Let's see, is it Zainab Sadat?
Hi, my name is Zainab. I am 7 years old. Would you be okay if I was killed? Thousands of innocent children in Gaza have been killed. Since the last time I was in your room weeks ago, please stop the killing of innocent children, women, and men. Please call for a ceasefire this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Gabriella.
My name is Gabriella. I am a Palestinian who grew up in Castro Valley. I'm once again urging this council to pass a resolution calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire and an end to the siege on Gaza. We are now on day 109 of the genocide, and each day brings a new statistic declaring Gaza the worst in modern history. One of those being the worst man-made medical disaster. And this week, a doctor in Gaza was forced to amputate his 16-year-old daughter's leg on the dining room table in his house, surrounded by tanks. There's nothing normal, necessary, or inevitable about this. And this is just one of many stories we come across on a daily basis. Nothing justifies genocide. Normalizing and justifying the murder of 30,000 Palestinians, the starvation, the dehydration, the bombing of hospitals, the lack of medical aid, and the displacement of over 90% of the population is blatant dehumanization of Palestinians who have endured violent settler colonization for over 75 years, violence that would not have been sustained if not for U.S. funding. In addition to our tax dollars as U.S. citizens being used to back this genocide, as constituents of Hayward, we also are responsible in the sense that over $1 million of our tax dollars are being used to fund companies that support the genocide. So once again, we are complicit, and I'm calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire resolution to be passed. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll give her one more shot. Teresa Resendez. Teresa, you there? Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm going to close public comment, and I am going to move on to our action items. And is
Mayor, I
there?
have a city manager comment, if you don't mind.
Does a city manager have a public comment or have a comment? Yes.
I do actually. I have some good news to
The
share.
issue is that there's a glare, and I got my glasses, and the glare right off the page is.
No worries.
So, anyways, go ahead.
Yes. I am pleased to announce the completion of the street improvement program in the Old Highlands Housing Association, OHA area. For those who don't know, this has been a 50+ year saga to get their roads improved in that neighborhood. And in 2020, the OHA board and the city agreed to equally share the costs to improve 10 streets within the neighborhood: Tribune, Cotati, Grandview, Campus View, New Dobble, Parkside, Home, Hillcrest, Chronicle, and Call Avenue. All 10 of the streets have now been paved in half the initially scheduled time. We completed them in 3 years instead of 6. And the property owners, staff met with the property owners the other day. Everyone is pleased with the outcome. And the cost for their half of the project will be reimbursed to the city through a benefit assessment district over the next 2 decades. So just wanted to share that positive news.
Great. Thank you. Okay, now I'm reading off my iPad, so now we can avoid the glare. Okay, next is our action items, and what I'd like to ask is there anybody up here like to pull an item from Councilmember Syrup?
To pull 8 for public comment, please.
Okay, pull number 8. And then are there any other items that want to be pulled? Perfect. Go ahead, Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Yeah, I just, because I know, there's a heated topic tonight, but before we move on to that, I wanted to call out some things in our consent item that are really positive happening in Hayward. The first one actually isn't so positive, but Library Commissioner and my good friend Kelly Sullivan is resigning from the library, and I wanted to thank her for her service to the city. And item 9, we're approving $487,000 for our navigation center in Hayward to help our homeless population. And item 10, we're approving $297,000 to provide services toward delinquency prevention network youth service center. And in item 12, $506,000 toward rail crossing safety and Tennyson Road. So I just wanted to point that out because there's some great things we're approving and we're just moving on from it. So thank you. And otherwise I move the item.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to move items 1 through 7 and 9 through 13. And do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Syrup. Moved by Councilmember Roach, seconded by Councilmember Syrup. And if there are no further questions, Madam City Clerk, if you can take the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Aye.
Councilmember Roach.
Yes.
Councilmember Syrup.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño. Mayor Salim.
Yes, thank you. And it passes unanimously. Next, we have item number 8. And we certainly see all of you here. I want to speak for item number 8. I have 36 cards. And what I'm going to do, well, before I explain what I'm going to do, I first wanted to acknowledge the last time that we were here. I think it went really well. Everybody was respectful. Everybody were engaging. I especially wanted to thank all of the kids that came and spoke to us on the here at the podium. One of the most scariest things to do as an adult or as a kid is to public speak. And it is quite something to see some of our city's youngest folks come up and address the council. And so, if there is a time that they know that this building is their building, it is times like now. So I wanted to thank them for that. But I just wanted to assure you again that this is your opportunity to talk to us. We cannot respond to you from up here. We are prohibited by law. But we do write, we do take notes, and we do listen. And so I just wanted to make that statement before I get started. Also, we have 36 cards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to limit each public speaker to 1 minute so that we can get through all the cards. If somebody says something that absolutely you agree with and is exactly or is your same sentiment, it is okay to come up and say, I agree with the former speaker, or I agree with them. It is a practice that I have seen done at the state capitol when there's lines out the door, and we understand and we get it. We know what the issues are. So I just wanted to say that for point of order. But nonetheless, everybody has a minute, and again, we're listening, and if we can continue to be respectful, courteous, and professional, we can get through this. So I'm going to go to public comments first, and then I'll call on to Councilmember Syrup to proceed. So our first, and also I wanted to apologize. I'll call on Stephanie Wigner, and I wanted to apologize to Stephanie because I know I had put you on hold and there were a couple of callers that got in, but I kind of thank you for the grace. You know, they were some of our youngest folks, so I let it go. So thank you for your patience, ma'am. Come on up.
Use my slow gait these days.
If you extended me the grace, I'll give you the grace.
Does this work, the projector work?
I believe so. Do we have, oh, we have our tech person right here coming up.
Let me go get it.
Thank you. Ah, there it goes. Thank you very much. Hi there. Most of you know me. I've been involved with the council for many, many years. I'm usually protesting outside. I'm part of Code Pink in Hayward, and we have our Peace and Pizza group that we've been around for over 20 years. And we continue to come back to the same issue time and time again. And it is just this, what you see up on your screen, that Hayward is currently investing over $1.6 million in companies that are supporting the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is something that needs to be addressed. We cannot sit back as Hayward has been telling me over and over again that we do not do anything internationally. Well, we need to stop that attitude and we need to take a stand. And I think most of the people here and in Hayward love our city and want our city to have a good reputation. And that's the way to do it. The other thing, and then I'll let you go, is that I think we need to have a sister city in Palestine, and I can tell you exactly which one we should use. So if you want to do that, I'm willing to take it on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cynthia. Is it Gavez? Or Givez?
Hi, I'm Cleantha Jerez,
Oh.
a senior at Mount Eden. So I'll be seeing you around Mount Eden because you're teaching the ethnic studies class. Hayward Youth Commissioner, I urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid and collective punishment against the people of Palestine. I feel disgusted knowing thousands and thousands of lives each month have been killed by Israel with bombs that my community's tax money goes to. Hayward is currently investing over $1.6 million in companies designated by the BDS movement as supporting the ongoing genocide, like Intel, Chevron, and this kind of divestment isn't new since council passed a resolution in 1985 to divest from companies supporting the apartheid in South Africa. And by the people who showed up here, I think it's clear that the community demands that we stay consistent and divest from the apartheid of Israel. Our community is counting on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah, so is it Salhab? And I apologize if she'll be back. Okay. Brianna, is it Solary or Salary? Salary, okay.
Hi, hold on, please. Sorry. Okay. Hi, my name is Brianna and I'm a resident of Hayward. The last time I spoke to the council, Israel murdered 17,000 Palestinians. Today, the number has increased to around 25,000 and counting. That's a genocide, and it's being funded and facilitated by the U.S. After the last city council meeting, I had an opportunity to speak with Councilwoman Andrews, and you told me that it's against the city's policy to draft a resolution calling for a ceasefire. The Hayward City website says the city council is responsible for the legislative function of the city, such as reviewing public policies and adopting policies responsive to the community. Our community is here, and we are urging you to divest from companies that are profiting off the genocide of the Palestinian people. As a city, we've already felt the Palestinians and not calling for a ceasefire, and we continue to every day that we don't take action. Let's do something and divest from these companies. If it's not current policy, let's change the policy so we can do so and divest. Let's make Hayward a city that's not complicit in genocide, and let's assist in freeing Palestinians from liberation and apartheid. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if it's a U or a Y. Is it Rupo? Raju? Oh, okay.
Hi, my name is Rupali Raju. I am a decade-long resident of Hayward. Yesterday, I read an article that said, and I quote, "Of the 600,000 people facing starvation globally, only 5% live outside of Gaza." According to the figures from the Integrated Food Security Phase classification, starvation defined as extreme deprivation of food. The UN Special Rapporteur, Michael Thackeray, said, "We've never seen 2.2 civilians made to go hungry within weeks. We have never seen this degree of hunger used as a weapon so quickly and so completely ever." The city of Hayward has historically previously divested from companies supporting apartheid in South Africa, and divestment was a huge part of ending apartheid in South Africa. We demand the city of Hayward divest our tax dollars from genocide in accordance with the BDS guidelines for our divestment policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Andrea Vasquez. Oh, God.
My name is Andrea Vasquez, and I'm a Hayward resident. I am here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and collective punishment against the people of Palestine. 45 days ago, I was here asking the council alongside our community, urging for you to pass a ceasefire resolution. I am ashamed that our council did not listen to its constituents, unlike San Francisco. I am here now to urge you to at least take your money, and right now we are investing over 1.6 million in companies that BDS movement has designated as supporting genocide. We've done this before when we divested from companies supporting apartheid in South Africa. I'm here to demand that the city of Hayward divest their tax dollars from genocide by following the BDS guidelines in our investment policy. I am counting on you to show that the city of Hayward will not support this genocide. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Salhab.
Hola, mi nombre es Sara y hoy yo quiero un ceasefire en Gaza. Yo quiero un ceasefire en Gaza hoy. No quiero el ceasefire mañana. No quiero el ceasefire la próxima semana. Gracias.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Sarah. Today I want to say that I want a ceasefire in Gaza. I want it today. I don't want it next week. I don't want it next month. I want it this today.
Thank you.
السلام عليكم، أنا اسمي سارة وأنا اليوم بدي أحكي لكم إنه بدي ceasefire لغزة. شكرا.
Thank you. And you didn't hear him, but I got the approval up here from Professor Zermeño that your Spanish is pretty good. So um, Carlos Alberto Farias. And then following Carlos is Vasco Yorgov.
Hey, Council. I was brought to Hayward as a kid, went to Fairview, Bret Hart, Hayward High. Grew up undocumented, but I just became a citizen, just registered to vote for the first time. I don't want to appeal to just, pull on your heartstrings. As you can see here, we all wish that you did pass a resolution for a ceasefire, but honestly, the divestment piece would mean much more. Like it would actually, as you know, the history, South Africa divestment, all of that, right? So just think about it just strategically. This movement is growing, right? And in the future, the next generation, this is just getting bigger and bigger. So those stocks are going to fall. We need to divest from them just from a math perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. And then, yeah. And then the next speaker will be Abdel Newman Salah or Salah. Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, members of the council, my name is Vasco Yorgo, and I'm proud to live in Hayward. Just want to share a couple of statistics. 25,102 murdered, 62,681 maimed and injured. That's 87,783 people in 109 days. I can't even begin to wrap my head around that number. One way that I try is by thinking about Hayward. So that's more than half of the population of our city killed or injured. Council can take direct action, divest the $1.6 million that we have invested in Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai. When we divest, companies will listen, pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire. Please. Thank you.
And then following is Taylor Renee Harrison.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abdul. I'm a homeowner and business owner in Hayward. I stand up with Palestine and ceasefire. You must defund Israel arms and supplies for killing children and their family. We are here to talk about humanity. This is the rightness of humanity to give a ceasefire and free Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. And then next will be Cynthia Nunez. Or, well, hold on. Is Taylor? Oh, there you are. Okay, and then next is Cynthia. Okay.
My name is Taylor. I'm a community member with UPM, and I'm here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's ethnic cleansing and collective punishment against the people of Palestine. Hayward is currently investing over $1.6 million in companies designated by PDS movement as supporting the ongoing genocide. These companies include Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai. Israel is using our tax dollars to make Gaza completely inhabitable. Nearly every university and hospital has been destroyed. The death toll has increased by over 7,800 since December 5th. Nearly 25,000 Palestinians have been killed and 20 million displaced since October 7th, nearly half of whom are civilians and children. What's more important, our profits or the lives of children? We demand that the city of Hayward divest our tax dollars from genocide by following PDS guidelines and our investment policy. I'm counting on you to show that
Taylor, yeah, your time is up.
the city hall of Hayward will not stand
Taylor.
by while innocent people are
Taylor.
killed. Please act now. Thank you.
Thank you. Cynthia Nunes.
Great. Hello, my name is Cynthia Nunes. I'm an organizer in Hayward. I work with youth in Hayward through Urban Peace Movement. Before I get into what I wrote, Mark, it's kind of bold of you to be so happy that these kids are up here when you won't co-sign this resolution. It's devastating, but not surprising to me that this city's giving $1.6 million to companies that historically and continue to fund a genocide. But it's no surprise to me because many of you have publicly come out to say a lot of things and not put your money where your mouth is, including when my cousin Augie Gonzalez was killed by police here. You had a lot of I'm sorries and you have a lot of I'm sorries now. You can act now, you can make a difference. Innocent people are being killed. We demand the city of Hayward will not divest our tax dollars from genocide following BDS guidelines in our investment policy. We're counting on you to actually make a difference this time while innocent people continue to be killed. It's the least you can do, as Dan said. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Obeida Jr.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody except for Zionists. My name is Abu Ubaida Jr. I'm here to call for a ceasefire. How many more kids need to be martyred? How many more families need to die in order for you to call a ceasefire? Be on the right side of history. Stop investing in these companies that are funding for this genocide. Stop the ongoing occupation. Stop the ethnic cleansing. Stop the genocide. It's not hard to feel for innocent people that are getting bombed while they're asleep. Be with a free Palestine. Free Palestine.
There we go. Hanadi. Did I say it? Yeah, bye.
1 second. Hi, my name is Hanadi, and I want to be a voice for those in Palestine who are being silenced, disconnected from the world. For you in front of me who haven't spoken up, what will it take? If the over 30,000 dead people wasn't enough, if the 15,000 plus children who have been murdered wasn't enough to make you speak and act, what will it be? Do we have to feed you money for you to wake up? Is money more important than human lives? Hayward is investing so much money into these companies that are actively funding the genocide, that are supporting the inhumane behaviors, and you guys are still saying this has nothing to do with you. How is that possible? The money from Hayward's taxes are funding these disgusting atrocities. There's been a genocide going on for over 100 days, and when will y'all decide enough is enough? We can't contribute to this genocide anymore. We need to stop funding these companies. We need to speak up for those who are being oppressed and silenced. We need to advocate for Palestine and support a ceasefire while being on the right side of history. Free Palestine, honor the martyrs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Haneen.
I don't know if y'all know, but George stood up for us last time. If y'all weren't here last time, he stood up to some people who wanted to keep us silent. So I just want to take a moment to give him a shout out. I appreciate you. That being said, hi y'all. I'm not sure if you remember me, but you should remember me today because I'm gonna talk directly to y'all's faces. I'm looking at you today, and I think y'all need to realize that 100 years ago, the majority of you wouldn't be allowed on this very board because you're women and you're people of color. And it's because your grandparents were fighting and taking a stand during their time that you're allowed to sit in the very seats you're sitting in today. So y'all need to do the same thing now. Y'all need to divest from Israel now. Y'all need to stop the genocide now. Y'all need to fight for what's right now. It was done for you. Pay back the favor of the people today.
I think this is the last name first. So is it Hope Skylar? Yeah.
Hello.
I'm here to talk about divestment. And I want to remind you, it's not just about stocks, it's about energy. And I'm saying this as a graduate who's worked with UC Davis, worked with the labs. I know what the state's doing. Fossil fuels about the livelihood of the city. Everything from the lights here, the food that's in the grocery store, kids getting their educations, how people get around Hayward, that's centered around fossil fuel. And fossil fuel is funding genocide. It's bombing the Middle East. They're after oil and gas in Gaza. And we are putting ourselves at risk for so much more instability. The UN says the migrant crisis is headed from about 20 million today to 1 billion only in 2050. And we have to remember that Hayward is a majority people of color city. I come from a few minutes away in Oakland, same deal. We have to end the fossil fuel. We have to end the fossil fuel system and the oppressive power that comes with it. Renewable energy won't have nearly the same amount of places to start resource extractive wars. It'll allow for greater stability for Hayward and beyond.
Adam Salhab.
The first of all,
Yeah, and just lower the mic so we can hear you. There you go.
my name is Adam Salab. I am 12 years old. I am in 7th grade. I am here to support a ceasefire in Palestine. A week ago, it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Everyone got a day off because of what he did to make importance of the Black people. I'm doing the same thing, but for Palestine. So you must stand with the ceasefire, and I demand you to defund Israel. Free Palestine. Wassalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Next item, or next speaker is, I believe it's Zachariah or Zakaria.
Hello. Hello, my name is Zakaria. I am in 3rd grade. I am 8 years old. Bombing children is not okay. We all must cease fire now. Free Palestine. Thanks.
Our next speaker is James Prince.
Hello. Give me one second. Hi, my name's James Prince. I live in South Hayward. Hayward should pass a ceasefire resolution and also divest from companies doing business with the apartheid state of Israel. When I was young, not much younger than some of our younger speakers here tonight, my mother, Hayward High 58, brother and I watched my dad get arrested outside the South African embassy in DC. It was a powerful moment for me. Protest, divestment, and boycott were the right actions then as they are today, even if we have a ceasefire. Times change, the need for justice and just action do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Omar Arsola, or is it Arsola?
Hello. Again, my name is Omar Arsola. I'm a longtime resident of Hayward. My 2 sons were born here in Hayward. He's 23 and 20. And I also went to Cal State Hayward and actually even started at a small school in Hayward. So I have a lot of love and commitment for Hayward. And, you know, I know Hayward has the heart of the city or heart of the Bay. And so I want to speak from my heart, and everybody that I think that's spoken here has been talking from their heart. So we want to really, from our hearts to your hearts, you know, I just want to ask you the question, you know, 200 years ago, if there was slavery, the system here in the United States supported slavery. Well, you know, what would you do if you were at that time? You know, the system supported slavery. Or if you're in Nazi Germany, they, you know, they supported, you know, the killing of Jews. The system supported that. Would you do the same thing? So I'm asking you now today, what would you do now that there's a genocide happening in Palestine? Can you take some action? You know, do at least some type of gesture. You know, one drop makes an ocean. So that's all we're asking is just make one drop of gesture towards, you know, peace and stability and diversity, because, you know, Israel does not support, you know, diversity right now at the moment. If we're talking about diversity, that system there does not support diversity. So like I said, just want to see some type of action from the city of Hayward because I love city of Hayward. I want to live here. I have a house here. My children are here. And, I want to make sure that you guys represent us, not, these corporations and everything else. So thank you very much for listening. Yeah.
Henry Kwan. Oh, Henny, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I echo everyone's comments on divestment. I feel like we've tried to appeal to your humanity and that has not worked. So I'm going to try to appeal to any sense of shame that I hope you have, especially you, Mayor, because I unfortunately follow you on Instagram. And I can't really explain the feeling of scrolling through another video of a child screaming in agony and then scrolling and seeing the face of your mayor smiling and his cup of coffee when he refuses to do the bare minimum and call for a ceasefire. So I just want you to think of that. Have some shame when you speak your responses at the end of this. I know you probably have rehearsed responses as to why you have failed to take action for the last 45 days. Speak with shame because we are sick and tired of your inaction.
Our next speaker is Ariana Castellanos.
Hi. Good evening, Council. My name is Ariana Castellanos, and I'm a Hayward homeowner and resident. I received my master's in social work from CSU East Bay. I'm a therapist and small business owner here in Hayward. And I'm asking you to divest the $1.6 million that is currently going to support the ongoing genocide. These companies include Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai. We're only asking for less than 1% of the total 250 million invested across the board to be redirected. This is not a large ask. This is 2/3 of 1%. So that's a very small number. Israel cannot continue the violence without our funding. After 75 years of occupation and 100 days of nonstop bombing during a climate warming crisis, we have moved beyond a ceasefire resolution. We are demanding divestment. It is not enough to just say we want the violence to stop, that we want the bombs to stop. We want to stop funding the bombs. Thank you.
Thank you. Amelia Ortiz. Amelia Ortiz.
Hi, Council. My name is Amelia Ortiz. I'm a community educator here in Hayward, and I'm here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid and genocide of Palestinians. As we've already heard, there are several companies on that list, and we are currently investing over 1.6 million in these companies. I'm going to take Caterpillar for an example to help us understand what we are really investing in concrete terms. I'd like to first say a trigger warning for all of my comrades in the audience. For decades, Caterpillar has been supplying Israel with a D9 armored bulldozer, which the has been supplying Israel with a D9 armored bulldozer, which Israel has routinely used to demolish Palestinian homes, civilian infrastructure, cultural heritage sites in the occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip. But if that wasn't bad enough, in recent months, we have seen footage of the IOF using these bulldozers to run over injured and immobilized Palestinians, the bodies of those who have already passed, and even people who are alive. They've also used these bulldozers to dig up and raid Palestinian graves. I want us all to not forget the case of Rachel Corrie, the famous case from 2003.
Amelia, your minute is up.
All right. Last thing I'm going to say is we've even killed our own Americans with these bulldozers. Divest from Caterpillar now.
Thank you. Lala De La O.
Hello. We are on stolen land, Moekma Ohlone stolen land. And that is a reminder of what is happening. Like our comrade said, this is less than 1% that we are asking you to divest. And if somebody asks you, do you condemn terrorists? I want you to say yes, a terrorist organization called the IOF. I knew you first as my professor. And you taught a class on the Chicano movement that talked about sit-ins, that talked about walkouts, that talked about community organizing. That is how you first stood in front of me. Now you stand in front of me, you sit in front of me as somebody that has taken 3 months with no action. And you have done a lot of things. A lot of you have done a lot of great things for this community, but for many of us, we will remember you as this, as somebody that was complicit during a genocide. And that is a shame. I hope that that could be changed because this is urgent. People are dying. There are 24-year-old Motaz that has risked his life and has shown more courage than all of you have. He was just displaced from his home, a home that he has said he has never wanted to leave. Please divest now.
Thank you. Vanessa M.
Good evening, Council. My name is Vanessa. I am a lifelong resident here in Hayward. It's been 45 days since my comrades and I were last here, and ever since, no action has been made, but a lot has been said. I first want to give thanks to Councilman Zermenio for putting forward a letter that not only called for a ceasefire, but as also an end to the occupation in Gaza and divestment of funds. Councilmember Goldstein, Councilmember Andrews, y'all have both signed on to ceasefire letters. And that's about it. I'm asking y'all to now put your money where your mouth, money where your mouth is. Councilman Syrup, thank you for doing what you have tried to do. And also I'm asking you to put your money where your mouth is tonight. Councilmember Bonilla, super disappointed in your lack of commitment to meeting with the community to talk about this issue. Councilmember Roach, I got no words for you. Like, your silence speaks volumes. And Mayor Salinas, I'm just asking you to not quote radical leaders when you are being silent in the face of genocide.
Thank you. Danae Griffin.
Hello, I am Danae Griffin. I both live and work in Hayward, and I'm here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid. I want to agree with a lot of the sentiments shared by folks tonight. It is, again, very devastating to see that there are children here that know what the right side of history is, and there are adults in this room that can't make the right decision. It's been 45 days since the council was asked to pass a ceasefire. Many of the folks in this room were here, and we are still waiting for answers. So with that said, we demand that the city of Hayward divest our tax dollars from genocide, and we don't want to be complicit, so stop spending our money this way.
Next speaker is Ahmed Sorab. Sorab.
Hello, my name is Ahmed Sharab. I'm a Bay Area native, Hayward homeowner. As a first generation American, most of my relatives actually reside in Gaza. It's been extremely painful to watch my family struggle to survive, and dozens have not won that struggle. It's inhumane to make me pay for it. Please, let's put our money in places that don't involve erasing my lineage. Thank you.
Thank you. Julius Abad.
Hi, good evening. I'm Julius Abad. I'm a community member here in Hayward, born and currently residing, and also a worker.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think anything I could say within these seconds will be more impactful than hearing all the children and the youth showing up and raising their voices to call for a ceasefire in Palestine and to call for a divestment. And so I'm here in solidarity with Palestine and here to support what everyone has said so far. It just sounds like what people are sharing is for y'all to support the advancement of our communities and our society by calling for a ceasefire and not supporting human rights violations anywhere across the globe. And so it sounds pretty simple what the task and responsibility is of us or of y'all as leaders in our community. And so I also support everyone who's been speaking and showing that the community will be here and will continue to be here as long as we are or y'all are being complicit in these genocides. Thank you.
Thank you. Ishmael Pim. Ishmael? Pim? No, Ishmael's not here. Jeffrey Kuarhara? Jeffrey?
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Jeffrey Kurohara, resident of Hayward. I would urge you again to support the goal of divestment and sanctions. Follow those guidelines. I'm sure, as we've seen, the horrifying images of Caterpillar bulldozers disinter corpses and desecrate them. And so I hope that even if you can't see these horrifying images, that I would like you to remember to emphasize the point of thinking pragmatically. The demographics in this community are changing. We're a very diverse community. And I want to urge you that this is an issue that I think it's animating many different people. And I guess that's all I have to say. Free Palestine.
Thank you. Dave Rocha? Oh, okay. Ishmael, yeah. Let's do Ishmael first, and we'll do Dave Rocha. Go ahead. Come on up.
How you doing, City Council? You ever good? Oh, you can't talk. So my name is Ishmael Perry, and I just wanted to say, salam alaikum to the brothers and sisters in the crowd like that. Salam. And what's going on, and what we're asking y'all to do is, to stop the funding of these companies, Chevron, Intel. It's $1.6 million to companies that are supporting a genocide of, kids and women, innocent kids and women. What we're asking is simple: just call for that ceasefire. If you make this decision, I can guarantee you'll be on the right side of history. You're going to save lives. If you can just save one life, it's worth it. I can promise you that. And if you don't do it, you're supporting genocide. And it's a decision I wouldn't suggest making. And then on the last note, like he says, I forgot, I think Brother Omar said, we're speaking from the heart. So in your heart, it's right. And sometimes God gives you he gives you a choice to make the right decision. And in your heart, it's right. Don't worry about what nobody has to say. Make the right decision.
And Mr. Rocha.
Hi, I'm Dave Rocha. I live in Castro Valley. And I've been thinking a lot about the idea of the ceasefire. It's not starting here in the Bay Area. In the United Nations Security Council, there has been a call for a ceasefire many times, and many times it's been vetoed by one country, the United States. And it's time for that to stop. The politics in this country, are set up where Israel can do no wrong. And I can understand, Israel having a right to defend itself, from 10-7, and people can have their own ideas about that. But what is going on now is so horrendous, and there are so many innocent people being killed just on a mass basis. It really has to stop. And for us in Hayward, Castro Valley, in the Bay Area, to take a stand and speak out on that could make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Hernandez.
Jennifer, born and raised, live in Hayward. The kids are showing up. We smile at their comments. We think it's cute, but they're actually here because there's a genocide going on. And they're calling you to take action and end this genocide. You also mentioned 12-5, everything went well. I don't think everything went well. You didn't hear us. 100 folks showed up. You called in, spoke up, and asked you to call for a ceasefire. You said, we'll take the time to do the research. We'll see what we can do. I haven't heard from you at all. So the people here did some homework for you. They're calling out $1.6 million in your investments. They're telling you which companies. They're telling you why those companies. We did that homework for you. Those dollars are being funneled to support this genocide, the occupation, and the apartheid in Palestine. Again, we ask you to amplify our voices, amplify the kids' voices who are here. Say it with me. Not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crime. Divest now.
Thank you. Diego Aldond. Diego, yeah. And the next is Liftawia.
Hello. Okay, we're good. So, I've heard a lot of this question about how this isn't something we should get ourselves involved with. It's our city politics. Why are we getting involved in international issues? But the thing is, my mom escaped from El Salvador during the Civil War, and it was in the Bay Area that they actually fought to boycott a lot of the coffee that was being sold to fund the death squads in El Salvador. And so this is not just about financial messages that you're sending to your constituents, you're sending a message to us who have come from so many places across the world, have fled so many wars, so much starvation and poverty, and we're asking for so little of an action to demonstrate to us that we are welcome here, that you welcome people that are under attack, because that's what you did for me. And I've lived in this city, I've worked in the city, and I studied in the city. I bike in the city my whole life. Thank you.
Liftawia? Liftawia? No? Colin Thormoto.
There you go. Hi, my name is Colin Thormoto, and I'm the head staff writer for the Hayward Herald. I'm here to urge the City Council to divest from companies that profit from the Israeli government's continued genocide against the Palestinian people. Over 45 days and thousands of innocent lives have passed since I last stood up here with our community to demand that our elected officials do something. The council made excuses about policy and did nothing. Today, I'm here with something tangible you can do. Decide where our tax dollars go. The city currently invests well over $1.6 million in companies identified by the BDS movement as aiding Israel's genocidal actions. Just like when the Alex Giuliani Council divested from apartheid South Africa in '85, we can do the same thing today. This will send a clear message to our elected officials that we do not support what our government and these corporations are funding, the murder of tens of thousands of innocent people. If you can't bring yourselves to issue a resolution, at least make sure the city funds aren't being used for a genocide. Change our investment policy to follow BDS guidelines, divest from an apartheid government, demonstrate to your city that we will not stand by and let innocent people be killed with our money. Thank you.
Thanks. Jasmine Zafra. Jasmine. And the next is Alexis Villalobos.
Good evening. My name is Hasmin Zafra, and I'm a Hayward constituent, a graduate student, and a school counselor in training. I'm here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from companies aiding Israel's apartheid and ethnic cleansing against the people of Palestine. As someone who works with elementary students and is devoted to creating a safe and supportive environment for them, knowing my tax dollars are being used to perpetrate violence against Palestinian children makes me sick. The $1.6 million that Hayward is giving to companies on the BDS list, such as Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai, is funding the displacement of Palestinian families and the destruction of their homes, schools, and hospitals. I know the lasting effects of trauma on the brain and nervous system, and my heart aches knowing even those who survived this genocide will be haunted by what they have experienced. Imagine what would be possible if we instead invested $1.6 million into resources that our local schools and communities so desperately need. Into mental health resources, technology upgrades and staffing for schools, into transportation. It's time to make an ethical decision.
Thank you. And then next is Sharat Lynn.
Good evening. Alexis Villalobos, lifelong Hayward community member, organizer. I just want to say, while I'm up here, just how much I love this community, how smart they are, this education city that y'all are talking about. It's here where I learned in my freshman year of high school what genocide meant and what change meant and what it takes to make change. I want to be really clear about what we're asking people to do here. We're asking our tax dollars, our money, to not go investing into companies that are profiting from apartheid occupation, illegal occupation, and genocide now. And I also want to be clear because last time we were here in December, there was a lot of reference to a policy about international affairs. That policy that you self-enforce, that you can decide whether or not it applies here, was made in the 70s. In the 80s, the city council decided to divest from apartheid South Africa. Now, a liberated South Africa is charging Israel with genocide, and we are calling you to stand with that same company, to that same country, to divest from companies that are now supporting that state. So it's a really clear ask here. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people legally who can make that happen, and they are in this room. So if it doesn't happen tonight, it will happen sometime, and the people here know where that is. So the people here, like I said, it's unethical to make our money pay for this, and we'll be back if it doesn't happen tonight.
Yes, my name is Dr. Sharat Lynn. I'm a researcher in the Middle East, political economist. And so this whole situation that we're seeing since October 7th didn't start on October 7th. This has been 75 years of occupation where Israel has been systematically and increasingly trying to push out the Palestinian people. The genocide that we're talking about now is not merely a mass killing. It is the intent to push people out. It's the intent to erase the Palestinian people. It's intent to cleanse the land of Palestinians. And that's why this is a historic moment that we have to take this position because this cannot go on and on and on. And divestment is one way. At the very least, do whatever you can to amplify the voices of your people and divest from these companies, including the defense contractors like Lockheed Martin that are supplying the weapons to Israel. Thank you.
Thank you. Farina, but is it Badoria? Yeah. Is that a P?
Hi, I'm Farina Baporia. I'm a Bay Area native and a Hayward homeowner. I am saddened that our children and our residents have to beg our elected officials, you, to, beg you as elected officials in a democratic country to do the right thing and stop funding a genocide. It is unacceptable to ethnically cleanse an entire country, and it is unacceptable that a genocide is occurring at all and in the 21st century. I am asking that the city of Hayward divest from companies that are aiding Israel's apartheid state, ethnically cleansing, and collective punishment against the people of Palestine. Hayward is currently investing $1.6 million in companies supporting a genocide. Our tax dollars are going towards creating generational trauma. Our money is being put towards murdering and slaughtering innocent people, children, men, and women. I work hard like every other resident and every person in this room, including you, and I am not okay at all that my hard-earned money is being used against humanity and killing children. Not okay. The evidence and the images are clear, and the graphic, there are war crimes being committed, yet American politicians who are supposed to uphold a democratic state, act like a moral compass for international relations,
Farina?
are turning a blind eye. I'm asking to stop using my money
Farina?
for funding a genocide.
Thank you.
Call a ceasefire.
Thank you. Next speaker is maybe they spoke earlier, but Obaida? Obaida? Obaida. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. The ongoing conflict in Gaza is heartbreaking, and it's crucial that we call for a ceasefire to prevent further suffering. It is disheartening to see the difference in international response compared to other conflicts, for example, Russia and Ukraine. While there could be many factors at play, including geopolitical interests, it's important to acknowledge the impact of religious and geopolitical dynamics. The lack of unified global response raises question about the value placed on Muslims' lives. It's essential that we push for a ceasefire and humanitarian aid regardless of political or religious affiliation, because every human life deserves dignity and peace. Free Palestine, Palestinian lives matter. Ceasefire now.
Thank you. Thank you. Roberta Ryan. Roberta Ryan. Yeah.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Roberta Ryan. I'm a community member. The issue of a ceasefire and divesting from genocide, occupation, and apartheid, it is a local issue. And as city elected officials, you all are not absolved of this responsibility because as so many people have articulated, the link is now undeniable between our local economies, our taxpayer dollars, and the bombs being dropped in Palestine, in our home countries, in the name of greed, profit, land grabbing, and ethnic cleansing. And just as we, as Filipinos and all colonized people, call for an end to U.S. military aid that is killing and torturing our people, we do the same for Gaza and for Palestine. All people who support freedom, human rights, and sovereignty stand with Palestine because we are one and the same. We call on you for a ceasefire resolution and to divest from companies who are aiding and abetting this genocide and this occupation in Palestine. You all represent the will and priorities of your constituents. Find your moral conscience, because this is the time in history to find the courage to say and do the right thing, because we have the power to end this genocide.
Thank you. I'd like to go online and have Calvin Wong. Go ahead and key up.
Yes, hello.
Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, hi, my name is Calvin Wong and I'm a Hayward resident who has COVID right now. Now, I can go to the hospital if I really needed to, but every time I have that thought, I'm reminded that there are no fully functioning hospitals in northern Gaza and that the rest of the Gazan healthcare system is falling apart as I speak. And so since the last time this body heard coordinated requests for a ceasefire resolution, thousands of more people have needlessly died with the aid of materiel from companies that Hayward is investing in. And so as someone who's suffering from a lot of headaches right now, I can yet still see very clearly what the moral decision is. And that is for this body to divest so that Hayward does not aid in Israel's apartheid and to pass a ceasefire resolution now.
Thank you. Naomi Smoller.
All right. Hello again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Okay. Could you reset my timer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. So legislation is both an enshrinement of political will and a vehicle for the expression of political will. When you have the political will, a piece of legislation can be liberally interpreted to enact that political will, or an amendment can be made to enact that as well. When Biden summons the political will, rather than stopping a genocide, he chooses to bomb Yemen. And it doesn't matter whether he violates the first article of the Constitution to do it. Now, y'all have invested 1.6 million in these companies that we're asking to divest from. Caterpillar being one of the greatest forces for settlement, illegal settlement in Israel. Also a great force for gentrification in the Bay Area, the displacement of our own houseless neighbors, a genocide that we should be well aware of happening on our own porch. So these struggles are interconnected, and if you don't have the political will, you better find it, because I know you can quibble all day about
Mr. Wong,
this
Mr.
that
Wong.
technicality.
Or I'm sorry. Yeah. Mr. Smaller, I apologize. Your time is up.
Miss. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller is Free Palestine.
Hello. Good evening. Do you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and city workers. Thank you for hearing us out tonight. Mayor, earlier you said the scariest time for kids is to come up and speak in front of adults. Respectfully, I disagree, because the scariest times for kids is not just to come up and speak in front of adults, but to do that and still not be heard. This foreign apartheid regime is slaughtering innocent people with the money that you send them. Instead of supporting the families and communities right here, it is literally being sent to foreign occupation, to genocide families and communities there. We implore you, Hayward City elected officials, to divest the $1.6 million from genocide by following the boycott, divestment, and sanction guidelines. Hayward leaders did the same thing for South Africa in 1985. They've already set the precedent for you to follow. Also, please call for a ceasefire now, just like courageous Richmond, Oakland, San Francisco, Pomona, and many other brave cities. I wish for an end. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next caller is hopefully she was able to work out the technological kinks, but Teresa Resendez.
Hi, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, I am so sorry about that. I was having computer trouble. So again, I want to restate that I wish more people would speak more specifically about Hamas. So since the attacks of Hamas on Israel and the kidnapping of Israeli citizens, Hamas has hidden.
Miss Resendez, ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody has respectfully listened to all of you. So please, let's give our callers the same respect and then we can proceed. Miss Resendez, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hamas has hidden kidnapped victims and their soldiers under Israeli schools and hospitals in cowardice. Cowardice, I say. And what is happening now is that 44% of West Bank Palestinians are now in support of Hamas.
Propaganda.
Okay, and so with that in mind,
Miss Resendez,
yes.
Your time is up. Your time is up.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You guys, come on. Listen. All right, I think we've all been we've been listening, and sometimes we don't like to hear what we're hearing, but please just let us get through this. Let everyone say what they have to say, and then we can proceed, okay? Please, respectfully. Sir, respectfully, come on, let's get through this. Okay, our next speaker is Matt Jack. Matt, Jack,
Yes, hi.
go ahead.
So I've been listening to this hearing for a while now, and I'm just very concerned at how misinformed the audience is. I don't have much time, so let's go at it. First, Gaza is not occupied since 2005 when Israel withdrew unilaterally, I must say. Hamas has kept firing rockets all through those 20 years. That's one. What else? 75 years of occupation. What occupation? Is that Israel? Because there was never a Palestinian state. This was the British Mandate before then. It was the Ottoman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. There was never a Palestinian state. So there's no occupation in Israel. What else? Hamas. There was a ceasefire on October 6th. Hamas violated it, started a war with Israel, and now they're fighting for their existence, which I guess makes sense for them. They have rejected a ceasefire multiple times, even yesterday. So this call for a ceasefire is just ignorant, I must say. And shut the hell up, because it's my turn to speak.
You guys, listen.
I
Thank
want to
you.
speak. I want my time
Mr.
back.
Jack,
Excuse me.
Mr. Jack, your time is up. Your time is
No,
up.
my time is not up. They interrupted me. I want my time back.
Hold on, Mr. Jack, your time is up, and I'm
I
gonna
want my
proceed,
time back because they interrupted me.
No, come on. You guys, listen, let me run this meeting. Let me get through this and respectfully, okay? Come on. All right. I mean, I don't want to take, extreme measures. Let's all do this together. We're not going to go anywhere. And let's just, okay? No, but hey, listen, we're all entitled to our opinion, right? We all listen, just let us do what we need to do. All right? Just let us do what we need to do respectfully. Okay, next is Michael. Michael.
Yes, I'm on my cell phone. So
Yeah, go ahead.
Michael Freed from Cherryland, which is unincorporated Hayward. And unfortunately, I used to live in Hayward where I could vote for city council members and the mayor and everybody else. I respectfully would like to possibly be able to vote in the next few elections because I think that's a way that we can actually, come up with a city council and members of the council that be able to vote the way the citizens would really like them to. Anyway, I can still vote in countywide elections, and I'd like to promote the idea that a resolution for a ceasefire would go a long way in basically getting the supervisors of our big county to also vote for a resolution for a ceasefire. They are unwilling to do that at this point, but I would like to encourage you to set the example so that they can follow suit.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Michael Gonzalez.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon. Hello, I've been a resident for Hayward my entire 25 years of life, and I honestly urge the city of Hayward to cut ties with anything that has to do with Israel, since the councils has stated that we don't get involved in international business. It baffles my mind that the entire U.S. government has no conscious mind in calling for a ceasefire. I'd rather keep funding genocide to make way for the Ben Gurion Canal, while innocent children, women, and Palestinian men are going and being slaughtered by the hour. The Israel that is today was not built on biblical morals, as they claim in the Torah. Please divest now and Hurrah Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. Bibi Ijaz.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, it's been 45 days since the council was asked to pass a ceasefire resolution. We need to echo other Bay Area cities who has passed ceasefire. I don't care what conflict Gaza and Israel has. I care about where my money is going. Gaza Strip is among the most populated places in the world. More than 2/3 of its citizens are children. under age of 18. Since 2024, Israel has launched 8 devastating operations against Gaza, largely defenseless population. Thousands have perished and tens of thousands have left homeless. In 2010, Israel expanded its siege on Gaza and banned the entry of coriander, chocolate, jam, dry fruits, fabric, notebooks, empty flower pots, cooking oil, and toys. Based on human rights, although Israel has justified its assault in the name of self-defense, in fact, these actions violate international law, and I urge Hayward, who is currently investing over 1.6 million companies that is funding Israel.
BB,
you guys need to withdraw. We are the people. You guys work for us. If we say
BB,
no to our
thank you.
money going to Israel,
I'm going to move on to our next caller. Our next caller is Arsima.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Arsema Bera. I am a member of Urban Peace Movement. It's been 45 days since the council was asked to pass a ceasefire resolution. If council is not willing to sign on to a resolution, despite a majority of council members publicly supporting a ceasefire, here is something that you personally can do. Hayward is currently investing over 1.6 million in companies designated by the BDS movement as supporting the ongoing genocide. These companies include Intel, Caterpillar, Chevron, and Hyundai. We've done this before. Council passed a resolution in '85 to divest from companies supporting apartheid in South Africa, and currently does not advance in funds with any entity who is knowingly or intentionally engaged in the development of production of nuclear weapons. Let us do what's right again, especially now that South Africa, the same country that has experienced—
Arsima, your time is up. Thank you. I'm moving on to okay, we have boycott, divest.
That's me.
Boycott, divest. You're up.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Boycott, Divest, Sanction from Apartheid, Genocidal Israel, Please. And I'm here to urge the city of Hayward to divest from any companies aiding in the apartheid occupation white settler project regime of Israel, their ethnic cleansing and collective punishment against the Palestinian people, and their active genocide that you are making us pay for. Let Hayward send a clear message to our federal elected officials and corporations benefiting from the slaughter of children, of innocent women and men, of grandparents, of disabled people. We will say no more, will not be complicit in this slaughter, and we will not allow anyone to benefit from it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ceasefire now. Free Palestine.
Thank you. Ed R.
Yes, hello to our council members. I was part of the meeting giving public comment, as many of the fine folks here, back in December when we were urging you to agendize and then pass a ceasefire resolution. I don't think we've gotten a satisfactory answer why that hasn't happened. So please, say something, right? Because we're here and we're very invested in this. And we're invested in having you divest our city funds from this very apparent, blatantly apparent genocide unfolding before our eyes. I don't know how we can expect, say, our public school teachers to keep staying to our kids, to build a hopeful future, to contribute to society, when this is the kind of stuff that we let pass in our society. Excuses aside, we need to do everything we can. And what you can do is divest.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And then Tano.
My name is Taino Mesa, and I stand before you today as a youth leader with Urban Peace Movement. I urgently address the city of Hayward to voice my deep concern regarding the city's financial ties to companies supporting Israel's actions in Palestine. It has now been 45 days since the council was asked to pass a ceasefire resolution. Since October 7th, more than 6,000 innocent Palestinian children have been murdered by Israeli forces. You all have the privilege and luxury of delaying the signing of the resolution and staying silent while 250 innocent Palestinians are dying a day. This shows your ignorance in turning a blind eye to the genocide of these innocent Palestinians. Despite a public show of support from a majority of council members, we have yet to see any concrete action. If achieving a resolution proves challenging at this moment, I implore the city to consider divestment as a powerful step towards rectifying this injustice. Currently, Hayward is investing over 1.6 million in companies identified by the BDS movement as supporting an ongoing genocide. Reflecting on our city's history, in 1985, the council rightfully divested from companies supporting apartheid in South Africa. Let us draw strength from that legacy and do what is morally right and stand with the youth and community members of Hayward. The situation in Gaza is nothing short of a humanitarian crisis.
You're out of time. Thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our last speaker. So what I'd like to do is close public comment, and I know Councilmember Syrup, he had pulled the item, so I'd give him a chance to make his comment.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight to give comment, who were so moved by justice to spend Tuesday in the chambers with us. It's kind of late, and it's really amazing that you're all here. I'm so proud to be born in Hayward, from Hayward, part of Hayward. You are the future of Hayward. You are hope. And I also want to thank staff for bearing with us. Democracy isn't always convenient. So my comments. 2 weeks ago, we attended a wonderful event hosted by the city, HUSD, Chabot, and the Hayward South County NAACP, honoring MLK Jr. and his legacy. Our keynote speaker, Professor Sylvester Henderson, gave a moving speech about the importance of listening to our youth and providing them with a quality education. Right now, our government is doing the opposite. It's not only ignoring our youth, it's robbing children of their education, their future, and their lives. In Gaza, thousands of children have been killed. Nearly every school, university, and hospital is gone. And at home in Hayward, Education City, we're seeing our schools close. Our only hospital faces financial uncertainty, and our social services remain chronically underfunded. How can we say that this has nothing to do with us when our own residents are losing family members? Why do we spend years and millions of taxpayer dollars trying to fight climate change just to have Israel's bombs that we pay for emit more CO2 in the last 100 days than 20 countries combined, accelerating an unlivable future for all of us? And on council, we have to make hard decisions every single week, trying to provide our residents with high quality services like the ones we voted on tonight, because half of our taxes are being spent on a war while we sit up here and have to wrestle over the crumbs. It's all connected. And I believe that we have a moral responsibility as leaders in our community to draw these connections for our community and also signal to our state and federal representatives that we've had enough. They're messing with our city and they're messing with our people. They're stealing from us. And if we don't do anything about it, if we don't say anything about it while they do it to us, who's supposed to? It was MLK Jr. himself that said, a nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. Do we not understand that every bomb dropped could be a teacher's salary, that the conflict abroad breeds conflict at home? If we fail to act tonight, it will be a stain on our city's history. It'll be a slap in the face of the apology that we put forward and our commitment to addressing systemic racism. And every time we do a land acknowledgement or celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, it will be a farce because we were too scared to act when history was repeating itself and we financed the genocide of yet another Indigenous population. And every time we pass by our signs that say no room for racism, it will also be a joke because we hid behind a 50-year-old policy that we had the power to change. So tonight we have an opportunity to redeem ourselves after 45 days of inaction. So clearly, the letters that a majority of us up here have signed supporting a ceasefire aren't getting through to our representatives. And I do want to thank the council members up here that have signed letters calling for a ceasefire. So instead of passing a symbolic resolution, let's do something that we can control, that will actually have a material impact on those profiting from the apartheid in Gaza, and that will also set an example for other agencies and how they can meaningfully support the people of Palestine. Let us help put an end to this horrible conflict. If it's the opinion of the majority of this council that we support a ceasefire, then I agree, let's put our money where our mouth is. So I invite my colleagues up here tonight to follow the leadership of Councilmember Bill Ward and adjust our investment policy just as we did back in 1985 against South Africa's apartheid. 40 years later, we have a chance to do what's right again, to practice what Professor Henderson preached, to listen to our youth, to the people of Palestine, and to our own conscience. This is not rash, this is overdue. And any delay, no matter how well-intentioned, is complicit. Our community has asked, and I have an idea of what an amendment to our investment policy could look like. And so with that, I'd like to move the item with the following amendment. I move the item with the amendment that the 2024 investment policy be amended to include the following language in section 15, XV, banks and security dealer section. The city shall be prohibited from investing funds with any person, private corporation, institution, or other entity identified on the BDS divestment and exclusion list. And just to be clear, before I open this up for a second, of our investments, that would include the following companies: Chevron, Intel, Caterpillar, and Hyundai, of which we have over 1.6 million invested. For the public's knowledge, I serve on the city's budget and finance committee. We have over $250 million in investments. And so the community's demand that we reallocate that 1.6, I think, is entirely reasonable. And as Hayward being a climate forward city, I don't know why we're investing in Chevron in the first place. So I hope one of my colleagues up here will join me in seconding my motion. I open the floor to you. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please. Moved by, okay, so I don't know if staff got the language of that. So I guess the first question I want to ask, well, let me ask the seconder to go ahead and make a comment.
Okay, yes, thank you. Let's see, for transparency's sake, what would it mean to the city of Hayward? Divesting 1.6 from those particular companies?
But it was, I don't think that was the language of the.
No, that was my question. That is my question, but, well, okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's pause on the language again, but go ahead and ask your question about the impact.
Just to be transparent with the
okay.
folks.
So as I understand it, the change to the policy would basically prevent the city from investing in any company that's on the BDS list. I think we had a conversation knowing, seeing the emails that came in with our investment management company who manages our portfolio. Couple implications. One would be probably increased administrative fees because they would be required to more closely monitor what was going on in the investment portfolio and do more research. That would result in less funds coming back to the city because those funds would go to the investment management company instead of to the city for our investment portfolio. It's right now there's $1.6 million, but part of the role of our investment management company is to monitor what investment opportunities are out there, what makes the best sense in terms of return on investment for the city. I believe, and our finance director is here and can confirm that $1.6 million right now is netting about $40,000 in investment income, interest income to the city. So that would be the loss to the city.
So my follow-up question is, we can replace those particular companies with other companies so that we do not lose the $40,000 investment?
Potentially. I mean, yes,
All right.
that
Okay.
could, yeah.
All right, very good. So there really is no net loss.
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on if there's investment opportunities available. Again, we don't know what the increase in administrative fees would be, so there could be a net loss.
Right.
So,
But it would be minimal is my guess. Okay, so thank you for that explanation. Now you all know what more or less. Well, the minute that you all were here in December, and this was mentioned maybe a couple of times about this divesting the 1.6, the idea is a good one. I think that it should be done. It could be done by every city in the United States. We do know, however, that the United States has been a staunch supporter of Israel. We know that since 1949. So that's why they were placed there. I do have an idea, and you touched a little bit on it. Why do we invest in Chevron if we are a clean city, if we are a city that is sustainable and we want to go there? So could we add perhaps divesting from other companies that deal with fossil fuels? So
I would.
that would be an addition.
I would just recommend that if the council wanted to dive deeper into additional, like, I think there would need to be additional research and, conversation with staff, with the Budget and Finance Committee, with the council before we expanded what we're taking off the table in terms of investment opportunities. And so I would be very cautious with the council tonight in terms of making wholesale changes to the policy without actually doing an analysis of what the implications are.
I will drop that possibility and then let it go forward as it is, because I was also going to add divesting from many companies doing business with Russia because they're killing a lot of babies in Ukraine. And that's something I dislike with a passion. Anyway, so I thank you all for being here. Thank you for the callers. I do ask that in the future, if you are here again and somebody states something that you disagree with, you keep it quiet, please, and respect everybody else. And thank you.
So just for clarification, are you dropping the second or you keep?
I'm dropping the possible addition of the fuel divestment.
Okay, Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate you all who reached out to me and had a lovely conversation with a few of you. So thank you. Wanted to ask a question though. Is it with the motion, the person is making the motion, the council member is making the motion, would it be possible that we look at a strategy, a socially responsible investment strategy as a whole for our investments here, and not necessarily just do this tonight, but as a whole? Because you, sir, you are on the Budget and Finance Committee. You had a meeting in November. We saw nothing. We're seeing it tonight. I'm asking if we can at least have someone look at the modeling and the risk tolerance to have a total holistic social responsibility investment model. Is that something we can amend it to?
Yeah, just to respond to that. So actually, if you look at the Budget and Finance meeting that we had previously, I did ask about ESG, or making sure that there's environmental, social, and governance considerations in our investment portfolio in the future.
Okay,
that's
great.
something staff will be bringing back, hopefully, in the future for us to review. And to Councilmember Zermenio's point, ideally, our investments in fossil fuels can be part of that conversation because we are invested in Exxon as well.
Okay.
And then just to clarify about the lift in identifying which companies are part of this BDS divestment portfolio, they've made it very easy. The BDSmovement.net list, I think a lot of folks have been sent that today.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of companies, obviously, that are involved, but this movement has targeted very specific ones explicitly for divestment and exclusion. And so it's a list of about 8 to 10. And of that 8 to 10, 4 are on our portfolio. So it's not like we have to do a lot of research. Like some folks said, a lot of homework has been done ahead of time.
Right. So my question is there any way at the next Budget and Finance Committee, we can come back and then have the vote of the full council once staff has the time?
Yeah, the item on the agenda that's been moved and seconded is for this BDS policy. If you want to expand our environmental social governance, I'm happy to talk about that in Budget and Finance. I don't imagine my colleagues would agree in that committee, but there's a motion on the table right now for specifically the BDS divestment and exclusion list.
The list, not just the companies that are identified right now.
I will restate the motion, and then I will clarify that this list may sometimes change, but it's
Okay.
not a very large list. So I don't imagine there will be a huge admin cost.
Okay.
So the language again is that the city shall be prohibited from investing funds with any person, private corporation, institution, or other entity identified on the BDS divestment and exclusion list. And for reference, it's the BDSmovement.net.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a question for staff. Is there any way we could, if this was to move forward tonight, is there any way we can look at the risk tolerance and the model scenarios at another future meeting to see what the reaction to this is?
Yes,
we
we
can
can absolutely work with our investment partner consultant to look at different modeling and what, implementation of a environmental social governance mandate
Okay.
would look like. So it could be something that we look at, like you said, holistically across varying investors and types of investments.
Okay.
As well.
And then I'm sorry,
Can
you
I-
all, I have a.
Sorry,
yes.
Councilmember, I just, one thing I just just pulled up the website and, there are a number of other companies on here and, again, we have not had an opportunity to really talk, like Barclays Bank is on here. And so there's some other sort of potential implications. And so that's what I'm just nervous about
Yeah.
moving forward with this evening without staff having an opportunity to do additional research on what the implications of sort of some of these other companies.
I understand. So that's why I'm asking, can we have one committee meeting to give staff the opportunity just to review this list?
I'm interested in moving forward with this motion. And if we find that this is incredibly detrimental, which again, it's less than 1% of the entire investment portfolio, so I don't think that it is, then we can revisit it after the fact.
That's something that staff can look at. I mean, does that?
Again, I can't do that tonight. I can't, and I think there may be other implications because it's not just the 4 companies that are in the investment portfolio. There's other companies on this list.
Are you looking specifically at the divestment and
Yeah.
exclusion list?
There's Elbit Systems, CAF, Volvo, CAT, Barclays, JCB, Intel, Hyundai, Chevron, TKH Security, and HIK Vision. I don't know what some of those companies are.
Okay. And so of that list, we've identified 4. Barclays might be a 5th, and we can pull up the investment report right now to see what that might add up to.
My fear is I
can pull it up.
Yeah, I just don't, it's not what's
We're not
on
gonna,
the-
listen,
yeah.
before we, council member, you have a motion, it's been seconded. We're doing comment right now. Are we doing questions right now? Are you done?
I just have one more
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
that is not related to this. This is a part of the investment strategy. I have to ask, sorry, you all just give me a moment. Is there any way we have looked at CAMP, the California Asset Management Program, as an investment strategy versus LAIF, the local agency investment fund?
Yes, we are currently establishing a CAMP account. We are still
Okay.
in the process of doing so, and that will also be managed by our current advisor who oversees the city's portfolio.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Obviously, this is, it's a stressful night, and then I think to the point, democracy, it is messy, it's uncomfortable, and I realize that, and I thank you all for being here speaking tonight. But I guess I do have questions. I mean, this was approved, or it was vetted by our finance committee, and this is where we would normally get recommendations that come our way. So if this was, if this policy had been vetted, we would have some sort of analysis in front of us, and we don't have that because this wasn't discussed at the last policy meeting in November. Finance Committee in November. And, as a, I guess we're just doing questions right now. So I guess what are the potential unintended consequences if we legislate this way from the dais?
I don't know because I haven't had any chance to do any research on what that might entail. I mean, just thinking about Barclays Bank, like they could be someone who we want to issue city bonds in the future, or debt. I don't know what some of these other companies do, but and then it's trying to monitor, like, what are are we in other third-party investment pools where they're investing? So then we have to remove from, I just don't know because we haven't had a chance to do that research.
And then, to the comments about the apartheid divestment in the past, what did that entail? Like, how long were process was that? What was the, I know you weren't here then, but if you.
I have no idea.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. Okay, I mean, I think I'll just keep my comments for the rest for the comment period. Thank you.
Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks everyone for coming out tonight. I appreciate all the comments. And, as I sat here and listened to the comments that were made tonight, I don't think that tonight is the night to be making any sort of legislative decisions. I think we should be recommending to staff what kind of research we need brought back in front of us so we can make the appropriate decisions that benefit all of us and that deal with what's being brought in front of us tonight. I am not comfortable going with the BDS list. I think there's too much movement in that list. I don't think the city's finances should be tied to that particular list. However, I would be interested in staff doing analysis, to help us understand what does it look like to divest from companies and our corporate notes that are supporting countries who are knowingly committing violations of international law, human rights, or war crimes. I think we heard from Council Members Armenio that we certainly have a very, I would say we have concern, a deep concern for what's happening in the Middle East. But that concern we also have, for an example, with what Russia is doing. So when we look at our investments, I would, be interested in staff coming back at a Budget and Finance Committee meeting that really helps us understand what the implications would be from divesting in companies and corporate notes of companies who are supporting countries who are knowingly committing violations of international law, war crime, and human rights. And those are my comments for tonight.
Thank you. Council member, ladies and gentlemen, please, Council Member Goldstein.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm generally in favor. I wonder if we can scope this now for those 4 companies that we know about, and then give the city some time to do the research and see what else we can do. Because I'm in favor of socially responsible investing, and I think we should be moving in that direction. But it would be irresponsible of us to be spending your money. I understand about the kids' lives, and I'm agreeing with you on that. So can we do something now and then do the responsible thing, which is to give the city some time to research further?
Yeah, so I'm happy to amend the original motion if my colleague is happy to adjust the second for those 4 companies: Chevron, Hyundai, Intel, and Caterpillar, for us to divest from those specific companies. And I just want to ask a few clarifying questions. How are we currently doing this for nuclear weapons, which is in our policy at the moment?
So the city's anti-nuclear policy has, it's pretty specific in terms of what it's nuclear weapons. And so there are call outs and exemptions for nuclear medicine, companies that are, and nuclear energy. So I think it was a sort of well-researched, and there were like sort of carve outs that were made for certain things. And it was specifically focused on nuclear weapons. We have, for all of our contracts with vendors, they have to sign a disclosure as an attachment to their contract, a non-nuclear disclosure. And then our portfolio manager monitors that at this time.
Thank you. And then would a bond be an investment? You mentioned Barclays, who we're not currently invested in. Would you consider a bond an investment that falls under the purview of this investment policy?
Potentially. I mean, I think there's, I think that's what we need clarity from the council on, is what does divestment mean? We can't do any business with that particular entity? Is it just buying their bonds? Is it them supporting the city in doing work? So that's where, I think we need more sort of time to do that research and get sort of clarity around what is it that council is asking.
Understood. So just to restate my revised motion is to remove ourselves from the stocks we currently hold in those 4 companies and not to reinvest in those 4 companies. And we can, and I would also ask that the Budget and Finance Committee does revisit an ESG strategy for our portfolio to be reviewed with the Budget and Finance Committee. I hear you, Councilmember Bonilla, and wanting to understand the full implications and seeing what else we can do for other conflicts that are going on in the world that we have a part in. Do I have a second?
It's a good modification to the motion, because it allows folks here to know that the city must do some studies. City staff has to do some work to ensure that we do the right thing. And it's always doing the right thing. That's what's important. So those 4 companies are excellent. I think that's an easier way. Thank you, colleague Goldstein, for supporting that. So I approve it, or I support it.
Okay. Okay. So let me make some comments here. Well, first of all, thank you for coming out. And it has been a long item, and we're listening. I know, you may disagree, but we're sitting up here and we're listening. But we're also trying to do the responsible thing up here. Okay. And and I have to agree with my colleague, Councilmember Bonilla, Councilmember Roach, and Councilmember Andrews. For us to be here and to vote on an amendment like this, where we have not researched and we have not put any time into looking at the impacts, negative and or positive, it is irresponsible. I cannot stress that enough. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, please, let me finish. Okay, we listen to you, and what I would suggest, and we'll vote on the motion in the second and see if it passes or fails. If it fails, what I would recommend, and if Councilmember Syrup wants to head this up and wants to take charge of this, I'll let him do it. But I'll be willing and I'd be open to looking at a referral from Councilmember Syrup to have staff through the Finance Committee thoroughly vet and thoroughly look at and do an analysis on the language of a socially responsible investment policy. And I think that's what we're after here. I do not want to legislate right here and start picking and choosing and plucking companies and, well, let's do these, focus on these three. Please stop, please. So the way the motion reads right now, I unfortunately will not be supporting this. So, Madam City Clerk. Oh. So are there other, okay, council member, listen, you guys, if you continue to disrupt us, we're going to go to another room and we're going to do this somewhere else. So participate. I want you to participate, but I want listen, and I'm trying, let's get through this so we can follow the process. Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm trying to save this as much as I can. I'm trying to save this. So just a second. So I want to know, what can staff do tonight in addition to this as is? What can we piece out in order to make this motion go forward with some of the aspects of what is being presented tonight? What is possible?
Well, I mean, it's up to the council. I mean, we've said our concerns with what's been placed on the table. I mean, I think it's up to the council of whether you feel comfortable making that decision of carving out those specific 4 companies, directing staff to call our investment advisor and remove those from the portfolio, and then continuing to work on the policy. But I mean, we've told you our concerns. We haven't done the research. We don't know all the implications. So that's our professional recommendation, is to not make that decision this evening. But that is ultimately the council's decision that you need to make. And I recognize there's a lot of emotions and a lot of tensions this evening. But our professional recommendation is that we do additional research from a staff perspective, so we understand sort of the full implications before we make.
Can you give an estimate possibly of what it would take to research this?
I mean, we would just work with our investment advisory firm, do some additional research. I don't know how many staff hour wise, I don't know what it would take, but we could bring it back to the Budget and Finance Committee possibly in February, or we could bring it directly back to council at, probably at a later date in February.
Would the motioner accept coming back to full council instead of adding time to the review? We're trying to see if we can get some analysis and bring it back to full council. It will save time reducing it from going to the committee.
Some analysis can happen after we remove our holdings in these 4 companies, right? I guess my question to Director Gonzalez would be, how long does it take to alert our stock managers to liquidate that amount of shares, $1.6 million worth of shares?
I just want to clarify, it's not stocks. We hold corporate bonds.
Sorry, excuse me. How long does it take to ask our portfolio managers to do that?
We can contact them as quickly as tomorrow. I did mention that we are in the process of establishing a camp account. And so there are some logistical that the money could not be moved immediately because we are in the process of establishing that and establishing a new a bank associated with that. So it would not be immediately. We need to continue that process to establish that camp account and change our banks.
And if that money was withdrawn, could direction be given for them to reinvest that in other parts of the portfolio?
Yes, but because we're in the transition, we don't have the ability to do trades right now because we're in the process of changing between banks as a part of the establishment of the camp account.
So I'm just seeing that this is going to take some time anyways if we say go ahead with it. And so that's why I'm thinking we should just go ahead with these 4 companies and see what the end result is. And then we can develop and further flesh out the policy around more things that we want to tackle in budget and finance and bring that back before council.
And then Councilmember Goldstein.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be brief. Since there's a process we have to follow to make the divestment happen, I think there's time for us to do that and a strategy to do that that will be safe and responsible for the city, even if we make that decision tonight. So that's what I'm hoping we're able to do tonight.
Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just think that based on the conversation, we obviously don't have the full set of facts to make such a decision. I think it's irresponsible policymaking to make this kind of decision on the fly. And while I understand the sentiment behind it, and I think we should be talking about a socially responsible investment policy, I don't think doing it this way is the proper way to do it. So I won't be supporting the motion.
Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you. I think we just heard from the finance director that if we made a decision tonight, the decision's not going to be able to take effect for a few more weeks anyways. So instead of us making a decision that can't be effected tomorrow, what I would like us to see is to bring this back to budget and finance with a more thorough analysis. And then we can make a decision there, bring it back to council with whatever the recommendation is. And then if we decide to make that decision on council, we'd be able to execute it more immediately because our hands wouldn't be tied related to this bank transfer. So where I am going to stand tonight on this is asking staff to do more research on this. I'm not going to be making this kind of financial decision on the dais. In fact, I think it's irresponsible for us to be doing this tonight. So what I'll be asking is staff to bring exactly what the proposal is back to budget and finance quickly, like in our next meeting quickly. And then I'll be more informed to make a more informed decision for the people in Hayward and all of the people in the audience who expect us to make informed decisions when we're talking about a finance portfolio for a city of our size. So I will not be supporting this motion tonight neither.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion made by Councilmember Syra, seconded by Councilmember Zermeño. Madam, do we need to have the language read back? Would you like to?
I believe.
Yes, please, if you could have that.
Councilmember Syrup, if you can read the
motion.
The motion,
Okay.
yeah, and
so from what I understand, the motion on the table tonight is to begin the process of removing our holdings in 4 companies: Chevron, Caterpillar, Hyundai, and Intel. That's the motion on the table.
Okay.
And to adopt the city's investment policy, because we need to do that in order to continue investing.
And to adopt city's investment policy as part of that with this amendment.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Syrup, seconded by Councilmember Zermeño. Madam City Clerk, can please take the roll.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, ma'am.
We all did the
Yes.
for you.
Yes. Councilmember Bonilla Jr. Councilmember Bonilla.
Go.
No.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Roach. No. Councilmember Sarah.
Yes.
Councilmember Zermeño. Councilmember Zermeño. Mayor Salinas.
And I'm a no vote.
Mayor Salinas.
That's a no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item passes 4-3. Thank you. Madam, Madam City Clerk, I want to take a 7-minute recess. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting back to order. It is 9:43. Like to like so we'd like to move on to our public hearing. We have a public hearing. Item number 14, Eden Village 3, proposed demolition of 2 existing detached residences and construction of a new 12-unit small lot detached residential subdivision on a 1.45 acre site located at 24764 and 24656 Moore Drive. And I'll save the rest of the title from that. And I believe I will have, is that Taylor?
Yeah,
Richard. Taylor Richard, of course. And I believe you're going to kick this off, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and Hayward community. I am Taylor Richard. I'm an associate planner with the City of Hayward Planning Division. Tonight, we will be reviewing a vesting tentative track map, plan development rezoning, and CEQA consistency checklist for a new 12-unit small lot detached residential subdivision referred to as Eden Village 3. As the name implies, the project is a continuation of Eden Village 1 and Eden Village 2, which were approved by council in 2014 and 2019. This project features the same development pattern, just right across the street. The 1.45 acre site is located along Moore Drive in the Mount Eden neighborhood in the northwestern area of Hayward. The project site is zoned single-family residential and medium-density residential with a general plan land use designation of limited medium-density residential. The project is requesting to rezone to a planned development or PD district. As you can see on the map, there are several other PDs, including Eden Village 1 and 2, and there are other ones to the north and south. The site is currently developed with 2 detached residential units that have deteriorated considerably due to vandalism, fire, and exposure to the elements. They were ultimately vacated in October of 2021 and September of 2022. The site has had an active code enforcement case since April 2021 due to the nuisances associated with the site. If the project is approved, the applicant, Nuvera Homes, will finalize their purchase of the properties and clean them up. The project includes the construction of 12 new detached residential units along a new private street. The units have 3+ bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and range from 2,124 to 2,489 square feet. Each unit will have a 2-car garage and a 20-foot long driveway that can accommodate 2 vehicles without overhang. Additionally, there were 6 perpendicular parking spots along the new street. The development also features new landscape plantings along Moore Drive in the front yards and the approximately 2,800 square foot common open space. As part of this project, the applicant is requesting deviations from some lot standards, setbacks, and parking location requirements. These exceptions are not only necessary to construct the proposed small lot subdivision, but similar exceptions were granted to Eden Village 1 and 2. To offset these exceptions, the applicant is proposing a total of 13 amenities. Amenities are items that go above and beyond our requirements. All of these amenities are detailed in the staff report, and I will just briefly cover them here. The applicant is including a programmed common open space, a stone veneer pilaster, and decorative street lighting to enhance the neighborhood's aesthetics. The project will include 8 junior accessory dwelling units, also known as JADUs, which are affordable by design and create housing opportunities for college students, seniors, older children living with their guardians, and in-laws. To enhance the security of the JADUs, the applicant will provide a solid core door with a double locking hotel deadbolt system between the JADU and the primary residence. Electric vehicle chargers will be installed in all of the garages, and additional solar panels will be provided on all the roofs. And a second rainwater collection barrel will also be provided to enhance the project's sustainability. In response to comments from the commission and council's concerns, the mailbox was relocated from the front of the site to the rear of the project site.
The mailbox location will be in view of several residences, providing for more eyes on the street. The cluster mailbox was upgraded to a higher strength model made of heavy-duty aluminum with stainless steel hardware to prevent further break-ins. The last 4 amenities involve reusing the lumber from trees that are proposed to be removed. This includes a donation of usable lumber to the La Vista Park development and using leftover lumber to create benches, a picnic table, planters, and a community art sign within the common open space. That concludes my description of the project. I want to note, as detailed in the staff report, the project is fully compliant with the City of Hayward's 2040 general plan, including several policies geared towards promoting infill residential development. Furthermore, in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, the project was found to be consistent with the Hayward 2040 General Plan Environmental Impact Report, noting that it will not have any significant impacts on the environment that have not already been analyzed or more significant than what was analyzed or were not substantially mitigated by uniformly applicable development policies. With that, staff and the Planning Commission recommend the City Council approve the proposed vesting tentative tract map and plan development rezoning application. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the proposed development, and I'm joined by Carly Kaufman from Rincon Consultants, there who would do our CEQA analysis, and Jeffrey Lawrence from New Vera Homes.
Okay, thank you very much, Planner Richard. I see Council Member Zermenio.
Mayor, thank you. Thank you very much. Good report. Let's see. So we're going to be saving 1 redwood. So thank you very much. Now, impress me by the number of trees that will be planted on the lot.
Give me 1 moment while I look at the staff report. The project
I see.
proposes 45 total trees.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where I would.
Yeah, there are on page 4 of the staff report. The project proposes 45 trees in total. 15 will be preserved existing trees, and there will be 30 new trees.
Excellent. And it's good for everybody to know that. So future developers can come in and say, oh, we need to plant more trees. So thank you very much. One question for for Jeff. Your last name is, I'm sorry. Huh? I have a question for you, Mr. Lauren.
Yeah, come on up and hit the button. In this room, red means go. So if you hit the button, yeah, on the black box there. There you go. Hit it. Press it.
Yeah.
There you go. And then lift up the mic. And then lift up the mic. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Your project is going to be right up against the Chabot College baseball diamond. And as you know, our baseball players use aluminum bats.
Yep.
That can get kind of noisy. Will you be telling the owners that they will be near a baseball field with aluminum
We
bats?
will. We discussed
Okay.
that earlier, and we always put a pretty detailed disclosure of our buyers before they sign even.
That's important.
And do it. But one thing that is a factor is that we're farther down. We're kind of past where the diamond is. So I think at least we're not right outside the batting cage, which I think is, I understand.
At Chabot College, we're trying to do something so that it's not as noisy, but you know how that is. I also noticed that there's a chain link fence. You're going to keep that chain link fence? I would suggest that you replace it with something solid to maybe kill the noise from going over to the project.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I think we'd probably leave the fence, but put our fence right in. I think it's actually inset into the into the college property. So
okay, thank you, and thank you for saving the redwood. Thank you very much.
I believe it.
If I do one quick comment too about the redwood trees, the original owner had just when he moved in just has a string of redwoods that go all the way down the length of the line, and it's kind of tricky because now everything is kind of geared by solar, try to get solar and that's one of the things we're kind of, we've expanded on here too, that, it's like, I'm kind of a tree hugger, but it's just, you can't keep them all, So we separated the ones we could, and there's one giant tree. I sent a photo of it out that to me, the first time I saw the project, I figured this has got to be Sequoia town or something, I mean,
Thank you. You done? Yeah, Councilmember Goldstein.
That was quick. I was expecting it to take a little longer. You're putting in aluminum mailboxes, right? Had you done a cost analysis on the difference between the aluminum mailboxes you're looking at versus 1/4-inch steel?
Right, yeah. I don't know the exact size, but it's a heavy, big upgrade in the structural portion of it, yeah.
Is it being built into a like card key access portal, or are they exterior mounted aluminum mailboxes?
No, it's a heavier duty box, but they're larger boxes. Gang mailboxes is what the post office requires now, so. And we moved that, relocated it back into the back of like at the end of the cul-de-sac, towards the college side. And in doing that, I think it's out there in the open, and I think it's also becomes kind of a gathering area back there instead of, whatever, so.
Okay, we've had around the city, we've had some new developments that had pretty poor experiences with their mailboxes. And I know this is kind of a silly thing to harp on, but I brought it up probably 5 or 6 times. No fault of yours, but the 1/4-inch steel mailboxes are a deterrent. They're very difficult to break into. And I think if we don't require 1/4-inch steel mailboxes, what we're going to end up doing is spending a lot of resources on cameras and security equipment and police response, because right now mail theft is a pretty big deal. Can we make it a condition? Would you be amenable? They're really not that much more expensive than the nice aluminum mailboxes you're talking about. Can we make it a condition of approval that we have the 1/4-inch steel mailboxes?
We actually picked something, and I think I'm not an expert on it, but we went to a more upgraded one, presented it, provided the specs for it and all that, and I believe it's pretty much agreed that it's a good solid mailbox.
You're quite certain that it's as durable and theft resistant as 1/4-inch steel?
No, I don't know if it says 1/4-inch steel, but I'm saying that it is the box. We reviewed it with staff and all, and actually had the specs and all. I just don't personally know exactly what that is, but it was a heavy duty, like twice as expensive as the other one, I know, and
Ms.
good salt.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So it's they're gang boxes, right? So, with rows of doors and things on it, so.
Yes, I
Oh, okay.
understand all that. They actually make 1/4-inch steel gang boxes with 1/4-inch steel pedestals for exactly this kind of application. They're very similar. Ms. Richard, did you done any analysis on 1/4-inch steel mailboxes?
No, I have personally not.
Okay. So I'd be inclined to want to see that be part of our standard requirement for gang mailboxes, that they be 1/4-inch steel. Because otherwise we're paying for it out of our police department payroll. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. There are no further questions. Oh, Councilmember Bonilla.
I'll move the item when the time is ready.
Okay, I'd like to close comment questions from council, open it up for public comment. Is there anybody in the room that would like to make a public comment? I'm looking at our Development Services Director. Seeing none, I'd like to close public comment and come back.
Mayor, we have someone online.
Oh, we do have someone online. Maybe I would, oh, we do. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. I had this closed. Oh, okay. So let me back up. Did you want to speak before I went to public comment, or did you want to speak after public? It's a okay. Let me go to public comment. Let's see. We have Ro Aguilar.
Good evening. I advocated at the Planning Commission on this item for inclusion of 2 low-income units. While the total number of 12 homes is a small number, the developer's request for a zoning change is significant. If the council approves this zoning change, the developer will go from zoning currently allowing 2 single-family homes to 12, including 8 so-called attached ADUs. This change elevates the profit from 2 above market value homes to 12 above market value. That's 2 homes to 12, resulting in considerable profit. So economically, it's doable to include low income. Now, I know the staff doesn't want inclusionary housing in small developments, but Eden 3 has the ideal location and circumstances. Since the developer and associates are gaining significant economic benefit from council approval, I urge the council to also use this authority to economically benefit low-income residents. Residents who will gain opportunities for wealth accumulation from home ownership. And the city will fulfill its commitment to equity by providing lower income residents with opportunities to transition to the middle class by living in a higher income community. This is usually not the case with solely affordable housing developments. This is why inclusionary affordable housing is so important and smart. More so than the amount of work it generates for the city, more so than the number of trees, more so than the in lieu fees to build more solely affordable housing projects. And inclusionary housing strengthens our democracy by integrating differing economic classes instead of separating them. So please don't allow the applicant to choose the in lieu fee here. Instead, require this development build 2 inclusionary owner-occupied units for low income and set an example for future developments to be integrated with diverse levels of income. This is consistent with Hayward's affordable housing plan and vision for our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Pratt?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Super. I'll make this really quick. It's been a long night for you guys, I understand. My name is Bill. I'm the son of longtime owners of one of the properties that Nevera is developing. For the past 2 years, I've been the primary contact with them for the purchase of my parents' property. Parents are in their late 80s. They still live in the area. They've lived in the area for over 60 years. Her family's seen many, many changes in the area, so we know the history very well. I just wanted to say how lucky we are that there are small builders like Nevera interested in doing the small infill projects such as this. But I know having worked with them personally, they're great to work with. Their intentions, I believe, are very good. The development across the street from my parents' property has been amazing to watch. The young families moving in, kids riding bikes up and down the streets. Unfortunately, there's a large vagrant population in the area, which is unfortunate, but the faster we can infill, the better. I strongly recommend the city do whatever they can to encourage and facilitate and streamline approvals for small builders like Nevera to get the infill complete so you can have family communities in place. I just don't want to make it such a hassle for small builders like this to go elsewhere. There are plenty of other places they can go. So anyway, that's really all I had to say. And hats off to you guys. You guys got a tough row to hoe with your your city council meetings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So I don't see any more public comment. And so I'd like to close public comment and then return up and then Councilmember Andrews.
I was just going to comment. I think I remember you when you presented at Planning Commission. So this has been a long road. Just to confirm, if we were to we cannot deny because this is already guided by state law and we need the housing.
I'll clarify. This project is not protected under Senate Bill 330 because it requires a rezoning. If projects are consistent with the zoning, they are protected by SB 330. So this is discretionary action. However, there are several general plan policies and our housing element, that support us to, promoting housing development.
Okay, got it. So can you just confirm why we didn't include the affordable housing? I'm sorry, I had to miss the beginning of this presentation.
Can I
Sure.
first take it? Since Christina Morales, our housing manager, isn't here, I will share her comments that she made at Planning Commission. Managing 1 or 2 units in a small development is a hard, like, administrative burden on our housing staff. Additionally, the in lieu fees that they pay, and this will be a sizable amount from a market rate project, are used to fund the lowest of low income housing, which there are not as many like grant opportunities and things to fund that developers take on. So this in lieu fee and the money we gain from these are really crucial into meeting our RENA goals.
Okay, great. That's what I wanted to hear. And I'll second the item.
Thank you. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate Rose's comments about the inclusionary affordable housing center. We talked a lot about that on the Planning Commission. But I do feel inclined to support the project based on the Planning Commission's recommendations. I know they really took their time to look at this and asked you to ask the developer to come back with some things they were concerned about. So they sort of pushed it forward to have the project come back as a better project. And I think they did that with moving the mailboxes to a safer location. I think there were some upgrades on the facade that they asked for, and you came back with some ideas on that, and they were satisfied with that. And then the repurposing of the trees that did have to be cut down. So I think a lot of work went into this to get it to this place here. And so I am inclined to support the project. Thank you.
If I could just say, Chaz, a good but a good process to go through. You know, I think it was good back and forth with staff and all that, and I really appreciate
Sir,
it.
I have to, we're about to vote. Okay. Councilmember Bonilla.
I have no comments. I just wanted to move the item. Mayor.
Excellent. That's why I called on you. So,
Excellent. I move the item.
moved by Councilmember Bonilla. And did you say you wanted, okay, seconded by Councilmember Andrews. And if there are no other questions or comments, Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you. Just in regards to Rose's comment, and this is more of a question, I feel like sometimes the comments inspire questions. For this development, was there an in lieu of fee that was paid as part of this project?
Yeah, the project will be required to pay an in lieu fee. When they pay it will be dependent on what the fee amount is. So if they pay at building permit issuance, it's in our master fee schedule, they'll pay a certain dollar amount per square footage. And then if they decide that they would like to play at certificate of occupancy, it's a higher amount.
And then just for the sake of the public's knowledge, those in lieu of fees oftentimes can get matched to help fund affordable housing developments. Is that correct? And are a lot of our developments from that type of funding?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm in support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Councilmember Goldstein.
Yeah, thank you. So several of us up here were serving on Planning Commission when you brought your project forward to us before. We do appreciate you making your investments here in Hayward, very much so. And I apologize if my words about the 1/4-inch steel mailboxes were not met receptively, but I would actually like to add a friendly amendment, condition of approval that they go to 1/4-inch steel mailboxes with the circular locks, because they are proven to be the safest.
So we moved by Councilmember Bonilla, seconded by Councilmember Andrews with an amendment that I'm going to call it an amendment, not a friendly amendment, but I'm going to call it an amendment that they have 1/4-inch steel mailboxes. And does the motioner and the seconder agree?
I feel like the Planning Commission has done their diligence on this. It's already been sent back, particularly related to mailboxes. So I think what's being proposed is fine. So I don't accept the amendment.
Okay, so it has not been accepted. So the motion or the amendment has failed. Madam City Clerk, if you can take the roll.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Yes.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Roach.
Yes.
Councilmember Syrup.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño. Mayor Salinas. Thank you.
Yes, and it passes unanimously. Moving on to the next item is the legislative business. which is LB 24-002 fiscal year 2024 salary plan. Adopt the resolution approving an amendment to the City of Hayward salary plan for fiscal year 2024. And this is coming to us by way of our Director of Human Resources, Ms. Fry. Or, oh, she's online. Oh, okay. I am. Hey, that was fast, Ms. Fry. Go right ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. So good evening, Mayor and council members. We are asking the council to adopt a resolution approving an amendment to the City of Hayward salary plan for fiscal year 2024. The salary plan amends the salary range for the Chief of Police classification. On January 3rd, a new incumbent was appointed to the Chief of Police classification following the retirement of the previous chief. This salary adjustment takes into account a variety of factors, including an updated salary survey for the Chief of Police classification and a 5% total compensation increase over the current incumbent's previously held compensation. The increase proposed takes the monthly salary from approximately $24,000 a month to approximately $29,000 a month, effective January 1st, 2024. This amendment has an approximate fiscal impact of $35,000 to the general fund. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to come up for questions up here from the council, and there are no questions from the council. I'd like to close questions from the council, open it for public comment. I don't see anybody in the chamber. Oops, I don't see anybody in the chamber, and there is no hands raised online. So I'd like to close public comment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chair's privilege, and I'm going to move this item.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Syrup. And if there are no further questions, Madam City Clerk, if you can take the roll.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, before you. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Madam City Clerk, go ahead.
Councilmember Roach, did you have a question? No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Councilmember Andrews? Aye. Councilmember Bonilla Jr.?
Yes.
Councilmember Goldstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Roach?
Yes, and I just want to commend the chief for the promotion to now the chief and thank him for his years of service leading up to this. And I'm glad to see this transition happen. And yes.
Councilmember Syrup?
Echoing my previous colleague, it's very exciting to have someone who's homegrown looking after our city. Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño? Mayor Salinas?
Yes, and again, Madam City Clerk, please tell Chief Matthews, a homegrown Hayward kid, so to speak. And it's kind of nice when you have the mayor and the police chief and two other council members born and raised in the city of Hayward, now leading some of the major agencies and departments in this city, and the supervisor, of course. But the city of Hayward has not been in better hands. So please tell the chief that. Thank you. And it unanimously passes 7-0. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to council reports and announcements. Are there any council reports? Councilmember Roach. Yeah.
Thank you. As the Library Commission liaison, I just wanted to say a few things that are coming up with the library. The library has just embarked on creating a new strategic plan that they hope will result in a 3 to 5 year plan that will help assess community and staff needs and optimize resources going forward. So that's an exciting thing they're launching soon. And also the library is honored to be hosting a presentation called Pictures of Belonging. At the event spotlights the work of 3 groundbreaking Japanese American artists. And you can see that, let's see, that's coming up January 27th from 1 to 3 in the downtown library. And so they invite everybody to come to that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Cermeño.
Thank you, Mayor. This Friday, I just mentioned Supervisor Elisa Marquez, also born and raised in Hayward, and she'll be the presenter this Friday at 8:30 at the Latino Business Roundtable at St. Rose Hospital. So drop by, find out what she has in mind and how she likes her new job, and see what she will do for our city. So hopefully I'll see you Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, I just wanted to give an update that East Bay Discharges Authority is celebrating their 40th anniversary. No, 50th anniversary, excuse me. And the Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation Agency is celebrating their 40th anniversary. So we celebrated both this year. So thanks.
Thank you. So I have a big announcement. Last week I was in Washington, D.C. at the United States Conference, the annual Conference of Mayors 2024. And, how can I put it? When I was in high school, I had the chance to go to Washington, D.C. as a student in the close-up program where they took high school students to Washington. And, we toured the Capitol and all the monuments and stuff. Didn't get a chance to go to the White House, but I'll tell you, it was quite humbling, and it was quite a privilege to go to Washington, D.C. as a mayor, and with mayors all across the country. There was probably, oh wow, probably 800 of us there, 700 of us there, and we of course we met and we had workshops and sessions and stuff, but I also had the wonderful opportunity to meet Senator Padilla and also our newly appointed senator, Senator LaFonza Butler. And after she spoke to the East Bay delegation, well, I guess there were the California delegation of mayors, it was the day that she was making her inaugural speech from the floor of the Senate. And, she's right now, she's the only Black woman senator in the Senate. And it was nice to, sort of see that and participate in that. And it was also quite nice and just beautifully received to see Senator Cory Booker, Senator Padilla, Senator Warnock, and some of the other, there was, and some of her colleagues, I forget the senator from Maine. What was the senator from Maine again? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Anyways, but it was really neat. I also, again, I met with Congressman Swalwell, and which was also a wonderful treat. But Friday, the culminating event, we had the opportunity to go to the White House, and President Biden and Vice President Harris was there, and we had, of course, Secretary Buttigieg and the Interior Secretary Hallen was there, and he delivered remarks. You can see them on YouTube, and after the remarks, then we went over to another room. We were in the East Wing in the press room, and then we went over to the reception. And just to be able to walk around that side of the White House and just see the portraits of the presidents and the first ladies, and you walked into these rooms where they had the artifacts and just all of the and people were sitting down in the chairs. Like, you can actually sit down in the chair that Abraham Lincoln sat in. I mean, it was just it was just an incredible experience, certainly a memorable experience, and there was I was also there, of course. There's in Alameda County, there's 14 cities, and there's 4 Latino mayors in Alameda County, and I happened to be there there was 3 of us, Mayor Hernandez, Mayor Gonzalez, and us. And we kind of were chuckling to ourselves all evening because here you had these 3 guys from the state of California, and at the in these positions that were just completely incredible. And it was truly an honor and a privilege to be there and to represent the city of Hayward. And of course, Madam City Manager, you would be proud. Senator Butler, Senator Padilla, and Congressman Swalwell did not get away from me asking for money. So, but that was good. It was just a great experience, and I will never forget that. And it was kind of nice because while we were there in the Capitol, what did I see when you walk in? I saw a bunch of students with backpacks that said close up on it. And so anyways, it was quite an experience. So, okay. So, if there's no other council reports and announcements, I'll move on to, there's no council referrals. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Next meeting is January 30th, 2024, and meeting's adjourned.